Yamaha FZ6 Fazer, 2004 to 2009, review sharp looks and fizzy performance. The Yamaha FZ6 Fazer had big shoes to fill. The original Yamaha FZS600 Fazer was a simple but effective idea. Put a detuned Thundercat engine in a simple frame with cheap suspension and then sell loads of them. The bike went through several changes up until 2003 when European emissions laws cut the fun short. With a few tweaks to the formula including a new catalytic converter, Yamaha came back with the FZ6 Fazer in 2004 and it wasn't bad at all. The updated FZ6 Fazer was well put together and performed in all sorts of situations. Its old rival, the Suzuki GSF600 Bandit, was left behind with its antique styling and carburettors, and the updated Suzuki GSF650 Bandit that came out in 2005 was pretty underwhelming too. The main threat to the Fazer came from the Suzuki SV650, which was also a lot cheaper, but its V-twin engine was less refined. The Honda CBF600S, although competent, just didn't have half the entertainment value. Ride quality and brakes. The Yamaha FZ6 Fazer's handling is spot on due to a great chassis, fat tires, wide bars and good suspension, despite limited adjustment potential, giving the rider loads of feedback. The R6 derived brakes work well too, although they tend to work worse the faster you go. They're not very good at all in the wet. A heavy clutch, considerable play on the throttle and a need to work that, rather clunky, gearbox endlessly are a few, relatively minor, niggles. As is slightly snatchy fuel injection, although this was mostly sorted with the revised fueling on the 2007 FZ6S2 version. Engine. The 2004 Yamaha FZ6 Fazer is driven by a detuned version of the tried and tested 600 cubic centimeters engine used in the Yamaha R6. The Fazer makes 90 brake horsepower, only 18 brake horsepower less than the R6. Predictably, it offers plenty of powerful acceleration but has loads left at the top end. A little more detuning could have boosted the mid-range a bit. Reliability and build quality. With that engine and those brakes having been tried and tested on the R6, there's not much to worry about there. Meanwhile, the build quality of the 2004 Yamaha FZ6 Fazer's chassis and other bits and pieces look top-notch when new, but slacking with the polish could mean unwanted, premature corrosion. Value versus rivals. There's plenty of Fazers available on the second-hand market and there's some bargains to be found. They're generally cheaper now than Suzuki SV650S of the same age/mileage, even though the SV was cheaper from new. The R6 engine has a reputation for being reliable and so the detuned version in the Fazer should manage plenty of miles without a problem. Equipment. Well, the Yamaha FZ6 Fazer certainly looked the part. Aggressive styling with R1 style lights sets it off. There's an underseat exhaust, housing that all-important catalytic converter, the fairing works and a center stand comes as standard. On the Fazer's dash there's a digital speedo, analog rev counter plus a fuel gauge. The ergonomics seem to miraculously accommodate riders of all shapes and sizes in comfort. Specs. Engine size 600 cubic centimeters. Engine type 16V inline 4, 6 gears. Frame type aluminum twin beam. Fuel capacity 19.4 liters. Seat height 795 millimeters. Bike weight 186 kilograms. Front suspension none. Rear suspension preload. Front brake twin 289 millimeters discs. Rear brake 245 millimeters disc. Front tire size 120/70x17. Rear tire size 180/55x17. MPG, costs and insurance. Average fuel consumption 42 miles per gallon. Annual road tax £73. Annual service cost £200. New price. Used price £2,600 to £3,500. Insurance group 12 of 17. How much to insure? Warranty term 2-year unlimited mileage. Top speed and performance. Max power 90 brake horsepower. Max torque 42 ft-lb. Top speed 141 miles per hour. A quarter-mile acceleration 11.6 seconds. Tank range 180 miles.